Jamaica, 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 Lord.
Unity is strength. If we all pull together, we can break the back of that monster called crime. Communities in the western end of the island have been acceding the call. Through sports, they are playing their role in the Unite for Change campaign. Details later in the show. Also in the half hour, top accomplishments for the Ministry of Youth and Culture. Hello and welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. We'll get the ball rolling with these messages.
I needed help to expand my business, but the banks only wanted to be up in my business. The high interest rates were killing my business, and they're never really business with my business.
At the Exim Bank, we have your business needs covered. Our application process is easy, and we provide loans at competitive rates for the productive sector. From renewable energy projects and working capital to plant upgrades or expansion and export financing. Come in and talk to us today. The Exim Bank. On the road to success, you are going to want us in your business.
Good day, I'm Samantha Allen and this is your GIS News for Friday, January 24. A leading investment firm is predicting a stellar year for Jamaica if it remains on its fiscally prudent economic path. Managing Director of Oppenheimer & Company, Gregory Fisher, says his firm is optimistic that government will be able to tap into the international capital markets as long as it continues to comply with the IMF program.
Kudos for the Jamaica government for displaying the needed courage to accomplish this feat. And I know all too well that it has not been pleasant.
Mr. Fisher argues that fiscal adjustment in the public sector will free up money for private sector investment in areas such as tourism and the logistics hub, supporting economic growth.
I'm not expecting a sudden rise in Jamaica GDP growth rates, but these factors will hopefully build the needed economic momentum that has been greatly missed for decades and finally get Jamaica on a higher path of growth.
Meanwhile, the Portia Simpson Miller-led administration says it accepts responsibility for the tough but necessary decisions attached to the country's agreement with the IMF.
We take full responsibility for the policy actions which are contained in the extended fund facility, and we fully believe that in the long term, true benefits will accrue to the society.
Even as the IMF agreement focuses on improving the fiscal situation, Mrs. Simpson-Miller said the government was unyielding in providing maximum protection for the most vulnerable in society. The Prime Minister was speaking Tuesday at the start of the Jamaica Stock Exchange's 9th annual Capital Markets and Investment Forum. And even as the government moves ahead with its plan to revolutionize the economy with the implementation of the Global Logistics Hub initiative, there's a call for patience with the expected results.
Not everything will happen overnight. The implementation of this initiative is a long-term undertaking, and not all the benefits will be realized immediately.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller was speaking at a two-day Jamaica Logistics Hub Sensitization Symposium held at the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston. Government has lowered the import duty on specific products in keeping with the omnibus tax regime which came into effect earlier this month. It involves 4 pieces of legislation that replaced the discretionary waiver system by creating a rule-based tax incentive program for businesses and individuals, one of which is the Customs and Tariffs Revision Amendment Order Resolution.
The legislation brought forward the reduction in import duties for some commodities such as auto parts, jewelry, new tires, televisions above 32 inches and watches.
For example, the import duty on auto parts has been reduced from 40% to 30%, the duty on jewelry has been cut by 30%, and new tires attract 10% less duty than they did before. The technical team at the National Works Agency, the NWA, is working overtime to open roads cut off to traffic following heavy rains in St. Mary. On a tour of badly damaged areas in the parish Tuesday, State Minister for Transport, Works and Housing, Richard Azan, said about 80% of the affected roads had been restored to a condition where residents could enter or leave the impacted communities. He said a report would be presented to the Transport and Works Minister, Dr. Omar Davies, for submission to Cabinet on Monday.
There are some areas that are totally cut off. We have to get the technical people to do the proper assessment and to see what short-term and long-term measure we can make.
Mr. Azam said while drainage improvement was being looked at as part of the long-term plans, part of the problem was improper building and garbage disposal. The full cost of the damage is being calculated, but a preliminary estimate by local government authorities is in the region of $180 million. The NWA expects the final figure to be more extensive. And finally, persons seeking to adopt children are being asked to do so through the proper channels. Youth and Culture Minister Lisa Hanna has made the plea in light of an increasing number of prospective adoptees making private arrangements with parents.
The state has a responsibility to make absolutely certain that at every step of the way that the child that is to be adopted is in need of being removed from his or her biological parental custody, that the prospective adopters are suitable in every way to become parents.
Minister Hanna was speaking at a recent press conference relating to the island's adoption program. She said a public education campaign would unfold to inform the public on how to adopt children. The Child Development Agency and Child Adoption Board are also reviewing the Adoption Act to eliminate impediments and streamline the process, and additional staff will be hired to clear the backlog of the 311 child adoption applications. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Samantha Allen. Thanks for watching.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
Reset the thing and get the courage to do things differently. A mantra made popular by the Ministry of Youth and Culture in 2013 as it embarked on a number of initiatives. Let's find out more.
Streamlining government's response to children, breaking the back of youth unemployment through entrepreneurship training and empowerment, entrenching culture in all spheres of life. The Ministry of Youth and Culture on a mission in 2013 with the courage to do things differently, undertaking initiatives to reset the thing.
For the next great phase of our development, we need to go very far. Let us do it together.
Determined to provide better care for children who come in conflict with the law, in 2013, the Ministry of Youth and Culture removed all children from adult correctional centers. The children were either moved to juvenile detention centers or the newly refurbished South Camp Road Rehabilitation Center, which now houses 46 girls. It was announced that through a $75 million Jeep program, 5 police stations across the island would be retrofitted with special holding areas for children. And to meet the 2014 goal of full compliance with the Child Care and Protection Act, Minister Hanna began tracking police stations that hold children for more than 48 hours, removing those in need of care and protection. On the legislative side of things, Cabinet approved the removal of the uncontrollable behavior label and removed the option for judges to place children displaying antisocial behavior in correctional centers. Work was also done to amend sections of the Child Care and Protection Act relating to children deemed in need of care and protection and the power of parents and guardians to bring children before the courts. Administratively, the ministry did a management and process audit at the Child Development Agency to streamline operations. More child abuse investigators were hired and assisted by UTEC students who are trained in child and adolescent development. The CDA's Advisory Council was also revitalized. So too was the establishment of an Advisory Council of Psychiatrists to serve in state care. By August, the ministry rolled out an upliftment program to see to the psychosocial and counseling needs of children in juvenile detention centers. And in November, the ministry, with funding from the EU and UNICEF, launched its mobile therapeutic unit.
That mobile unit will be fully funded to be able to go into the various places of safety and children's homes to do counseling for children whenever they need it.
The Office of the Children's Registry, the OCR, opened offices in Manchester and St. Anne to accommodate the reporting of child abuse and neglect outside the corporate area. On March 1, the Ananda Alert Secretariat was transferred to the Ministry of Youth and Culture and placed at the OCR. In May, the Ananda Alert system received $9 million to bolster its response and recovery mechanism through staffing and management support.
It really is a streamlined effort to make sure that once a child is reported missing, that all hands are on deck to make sure that child is returned.
The OCR received an additional $3.4 million for the running of electronic billboards in Kingston, Spanish Town and Montego Bay with the faces of children reported missing by the police. The strategic review of the National Youth Policy continued in 2013 with a series of youth consultations.
We have put in place all the work for revision. The concept paper has been written to write the new policy.
And while the revision was underway, the ministry merged the National Youth Service, the NYS, and the National Center for Youth Development, the NCYD.
By merging the entities, we will reduce overlap and duplication of work, reduce administration costs, resulting now in a total budget of $516 million, where over 62% will actually go towards youth programs. That will impact more than 21,000 of our youth directly.
The NYS also saw a review of its strategic focus towards volunteerism and civic pride. Some 3,750 17 to 24-year-old young people were employed in the 2013 NYS summer program. Another 30 were employed under a graduate work experience program. 3,000 at-risk youth were trained in the hospitality sector under the NCYD's Learning for Life program, and 290 young people were employed through the Youth Upliftment Through Employment (YOUth) program. Social and cultural entrepreneurship was also promoted by the NYS.
We are also going to be redirecting some of our young people into self-employment. We're looking at areas like agricultural entrepreneurship, a lot more mentoring for our rural youth. We're looking at craft and fashion design, and we're looking at manufacturing for some of our urban young people, as well as exploring areas in music and businesses, and certainly integrating a lot of those programs into our youth program curriculum at the NYS.
And to support entrepreneurship, a Jamaica-Cuba Youth and Cultural Exchange Agreement was signed in June.
In spite of our vibrant culture, the Jamaican culture is respected more abroad than it is right here in our own country.
As part of measures to reclaim that national appreciation, more work was done on the national cultural policy. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission was reconstructed to serve as an incubator for Jamaican talent.
The JCDC will take the responsibility to register all the artists who come through the schools, competitions, and other practitioners who wish to use their talent for commercial benefit.
And the ministry spent $87 million on the 2013 staging of independence activities on the island.
As we build the economic structure of Jamaica, we must also build our national cultural identity in order to give every citizen of this country and every curious visitor to our island the opportunity to trace our history and cultural roots through a rebranded and revitalized National Museum.
The ministry opened 3 museums in Manchester, St. Anne and Kingston. The Jamaica National Heritage Trust also launched a book showcasing the island's rich heritage in pictures. Minister Hannah meanwhile spearheaded Jamaica's mission to the UNESCO General Conference, where Jamaica's candidacy for membership on the Executive Board and the World Heritage Committee was discussed. Ministry representatives also attended the UNESCO Underwater Heritage meeting in Peru. The Ministry of Youth and Culture had several successes in 2013 and has set the stage to build on those gains in the years to come.
And I want all of us to start resetting the thing, because the future generation of power resides in the output and creative imagination of all of us. And we can never get anything done without the force of togetherness.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, more than a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the hyping. You think I saw we reach on the edge? I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
What are you doing to help the fight against crime?
Sitting on the corner, minding your own business, definitely not going to work.
It is time for us to unite.
Unite.
Unite for change.
Citizens coming together to make their respective communities safer. The police, schools, public health, business, churches, NGOs, parents and neighborhood watch volunteers.
As we, the police, do our job,
We as citizens need to do our part as well.
Report crimes or even suspicious activities.
Let's all work together
As one united front against crime.
and make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Unite for Change, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security. The Unite for Change campaign, which was recently launched by the Ministry of National Security, is gaining momentum. Citizens have been working with the police to help fight crime. Up next, more on the initiative as we journey out west to see how communities have been uniting through sports.
Scenes like these Jamaica can do without. Whether it's financially motivated white-collar crime, blue-collar crime like shoplifting and vandalism, or organized transnational crime like human trafficking and illegal arms dealing, there are major obstacles to our country's growth and development.
The government has been doing its part and will redouble its efforts in 2014 to work toward a safe and secure Jamaica.
But the government and law enforcers, despite their best efforts, cannot do it alone. Hence, it's time for all citizens to join in the fight. Unite for Change, an initiative launched in December 2013, employs a three-pronged strategy for crime fighting.
Strategy 1. Interrupt gang activities.
It's really just trying to get what is happening now, that explosion in gang violence, etc., to stop. So there's been the normal type of crime control efforts by the police, supported by the military.
And since that pronouncement in December 2013, progress has been made. The Area 1 Police Division announced the dismantling of the notorious Alma gang, which was responsible for murders, shootings, robberies, rape and extortion in the parishes of Westmoreland and Hanover.
This gang was successfully dismantled when 13 members, which were most active and influential, were either arrested and charged with crimes or shot and killed during confrontations with the police.
Strategy 2. Prevent the spread of gang activities.
And Strategy 3. Change the behavior of citizens.
These three strategies are being put into action through a number of initiatives, including increasing the size of the police and military, enacting and amending various laws to keep up with crime trends and secure convictions, removing the profit from crime mainly through the operations by the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Task Force MOCA, reforming the justice system, community policing, and focusing on at-risk individuals, especially in marginalized communities. As indicated, each individual has to play his or her role in the crime-fighting initiative. Hence, Unite for Change is rekindling hope in the society and mobilizing law-abiding citizens and organizations to work together as a united front against crime. To provide a vehicle for that, the Ministry of National Security has been collaborating with the Peace Management Initiative, JCF's Community Safety and Security Branch, and the Umbrella Group of Churches to organize a series of interventions in violence-prone communities. They've been partnering to put on corner league football competitions, outdoor church services, and increased community policing to engage residents in peaceful and fun activities. The Corner League football competitions have been gaining traction. Communities in the western end of the island, like Granville, Mount Salem, Rose Heights, and Norwood, have been taking up the challenge to bring back the love and unity through sports.
The aim of this initiative is to try to see how best we can have a cooling down operation of the spike in crime rate, and also to help with the unity where the community is concerned. This competition is a start, and as we continue to interact with the community members and we try to build back the trust where the police is concerned, where the community members is concerned, we will try to see if we can have a safer Jamaica in the long run.
It also grants us the opportunity to get some of the at-risk youth in the parish of St. James and its wider environs, and then that will grant us the opportunity to have these persons participate in the drum corps program, learning about musical instruments and having them become more marketable individuals. This initiative is mainly geared towards the young men who are unemployed and unattached for the most part, and as such we are able to garner their attention, garner their skills, and possibly to make them more productive citizens to society.
We are trying to build our relationship with the communities through the community-based policing and community safety and security projects that we have embarked on for a number of years.
Now, the young men in the Mount Salem area of St. James have been enjoying the Corner League competition. Scores of persons have been turning out at the Mount Salem playing field to participate and enjoy a friendly game of football.
I want to say thanks to all those people who make this possible, and for the community, I think this is a good relationship between the police, well, all the streets that are having problems. I think this is also a promising thing so that they can get back together.
Born and grown in our community and everything, you know. Well, it's a local competition where they put on. I love it because they are bringing back the community together. We never turn out like this a couple of years now, no bag of people now out like this and thing because of violence and thing, you understand? But we have CSJP doing everything to try to bring back the community and everybody to get back together and live as one, because unity is strength and all, you see me?
Two things war bring funeral, more enemies that pay youngsters in the cemeteries.
So the Unite for Change campaign is in full swing as the government and other stakeholders try to galvanize support for community peace building. While they do their job, we need to play our part by reporting crimes or even suspicious activities. Let's work together to secure our island home, Jamaica, and to make it the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
A famous person once said, "A choir is made up of many voices, including yours and mine. If one by one all go silent, then all that will be left are the soloists. Don't let a loud few determine the nature of the sound. It makes for poor harmony and diminishes the song." That quote is applicable to the crime problem now facing the country. A few bad apples should not spoil the entire bunch. The good bunch, that is. Law-abiding citizens like me and you who do not believe in breaking the law. If we are serious about tackling crime, everyone has to pitch in. Yes, man, every single person. Report crimes or even suspicious activities to the police. Employ the necessary measures to safeguard yourself and property. Don't do anything to entice criminals. On top of that, do not participate in any form of illegal activity. Shun the very appearance of evil. Ever heard of aiding and abetting? And most of all, be your brother's keeper and promote positive values, love, peace, respect, honesty, and truthfulness. Let's all pull together and unite for change. After all, it's time for peace.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
It's a new beginning. New day is dawning. It's time to arise. We have the gene of achievement and pride.
A bold new beginning. Time for action. We have the spirit to fight on.
This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This is our land.
Let us make every effort to forge unity and resolve to work hard for our prosperity.
Leaving our children a legacy of hope. Breaking the shackles and snatching the yoke. This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This
Let me hear the children say,
this is Jamaica. This is our land. We have a future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. Come on, everybody, let's sing. This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This is our land.
Jamaica, together we can.
And that's how we end this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Please tell us what you think. You may send your comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News and visit our website jis.gov.jm. It's a weekend. Embrace it with a few deep breaths, rest, and exercise. You may just get the required energy to confront the new week full speed ahead. I'm Audrey Williams. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.